Megalodon, the largest shark of all time, was probably the strongest living creature that ever existed on Earth. But there is a sea creature that could defeat it, and that's the dangerous prehistoric whale Livyatan. What happens when two fearsome beasts like a Megalodon and a Livyatan meet in the ocean, and who would likely win if they were to fight? Let's take a closer look in this video. First, of course, I have to ask, what do you think? Who would be the winner? Let us know in the comments below, vote, and then we'll compare the two animals. Size. With a length of up to 18 meters, a Megalodon was about 3 times as long as a great white shark. With a weight of 70 tons, it also weighed 50 times the weight of a great white shark and 10 times the weight of a large African elephant. So you can get a better picture of this, the giant primeval shark roughly resembled the size of a city bus. It also probably had a rather wide body, similar to the giant white shark. The Livyatan didn't have to hide in terms of its size either. With up to 17.5 meters in length, it was pretty much on par with the Megalodon. Its weight was 57 tons, which is lower than that of the shark, however. The reason for this was its slightly smaller body, which, because of the thick head, looked bigger than it really was. So the Megalodon wins the size comparison. Attack. Since sharks and whales have no arms or claws, we will compare the teeth of the two animals. The Megalodon had a 2.5 to 3 meter wide jaw and 276 teeth in 5 rows to make sure, if one should fall out or get stuck, it could be immediately replaced. Its teeth were up to 18 centimeters long, which is about the size of an outstretched hand. You'd think that's scary enough already, but it turns out Livyatan had even bigger teeth. With up to 36 centimeters, they were twice as long as those of Megalodon, and thus, apart from the tusks, the largest teeth in the entire animal kingdom. To compensate for this, the whale only had 40 teeth in its mouth. These were firmly anchored in the jaw and not replaceable like shark teeth. They were arranged in a way that the predator could hold on to wriggling prey or rip it into pieces. Bite force. The bite force of a Megalodon is said to have been the highest of any creature. If you extrapolate the values of a great white shark to the size of a Megalodon, you get 180,000 Newton. Thus, the bite force of a Megalodon was approximately twice as high as that of a gigantic prehistoric crocodile. Unfortunately, the bite force of a Livyatan hasn't been thoroughly analyzed yet. Experts who have examined its remains are sure that a Livyatan must have had an extreme bite force though, possibly even the highest ever. Due to the lack of facts, we'll regard this one as a draw. Speed. Compared to other sharks, the Megalodon was extremely fast. Its normal speed when swimming was 17 kilometers per hour. This means that it was twice as fast as a great white shark and 3 times faster than most other shark species. The reason for this is its enormous oxygen consumption. In order for it to absorb enough oxygen, there had to be a flow of water in its gills, which is why the Megalodon constantly had to keep swimming quite fast. Its maximum speed was possibly around 50 kilometers per hour. The normal speed of movement of a Livyatan was up to 15 kilometers per hour, which made it nearly as fast as a Megalodon. With 45 kilometers per hour, the maximum speed it could reach wasn't much lower either. However, the Livyatan could maintain this high speed longer than the shark and swim this fast for a whole hour. Senses. Sharks have not changed much in the last few millions of years, which means that the Megalodon probably had similar sensory organs to modern sharks. We can therefore suspect that even in the dark, it could probably see better than cats and detect smells 10,000 times better than humans. In addition, sharks feel the slightest pressure differences and can locate prey using their ampullae of Lorenzini, with which they can locate their electric fields. As you can see, the Megalodon was most likely able to perceive its entire environment perfectly. Whales, like many other mammals, have very well-functioning eyes. Still, because it's not possible to see too far underwater, whales have specialized in other senses, especially their sense of hearing. They can communicate with fellow whales over a distance of 2,000 kilometers. In addition, they can use sound for orientation. When they emit a sound, they observe how fast it comes back and therefore know what lies ahead. Both animals were therefore well adapted to the sea in their own way. A Megalodon could smell better, while a Livyatan could hear better. Strengths and weaknesses. Megalodon always had to swim fast in order to absorb oxygen, which was, of course, a disadvantage. However, Livyatan needed to return to the water surface at least every 2 hours to get air, so this evens it out. The biggest disadvantage Megalodon had compared to Livyatan was probably its intelligence. Although sharks aren't stupid, compared to sperm whales they have a rather small brain and thus much less cognitive abilities. It's hard to say how this would have affected them in a fight, but being smarter would definitely have been an advantage for the Livyatan. An advantage for the Megalodon, however, was its big mouth that was significantly wider than that of the whale. Thus, the Megalodon could tear much larger pieces from its opponent when it attacked. The Livyatan's long, firmly anchored teeth, on the other hand, made it possible to hold on to its victims, and its longer mouth allowed a deeper bite than the broad attack of the Megalodon. However, the Megalodon could open its mouth at a much wider angle and therefore bite off much larger chunks. So it's really a head-to-head race. Prey. Megalodon liked to eat the baleen whales and toothed whales of its time. It was also able to take on larger whales by biting off their fins and immobilizing them. In contrast to the great white shark, the Megalodon did not let its prey animals bleed to death, but immediately killed them with bites on vital organs like the heart or the lungs. Thanks to its extreme bite force and its regrowing teeth, it didn't seem to be bothered by biting on bones for these attacks. The Livyatan was a top predator as well that hunted 7 to 10 meter long whales, mainly near the ocean surface. It also ate sharks, seals, dolphins, and similar animals, and aside from it being a relative of the sperm whale, it basically was the primeval version of an orca. In contrast to the killer whales, thanks to its size, the Livyatan could easily hunt alone. Fight. It might be hard to believe, but these two giants really did live at the same time, which means that they most likely fought each other from time to time. This is what such a fight might have looked like. With its echolocation, a Livyatan encounters a large foreign animal that it recognizes as a gigantic shark. The whale identifies Megalodon as an enemy and gets ready to use its special attack. For this, it quickly swims toward its victim and uses its head like a battering ram. This way, it's able to knock whales unconscious and win fights without a problem, so it tries exactly the same with the Megalodon. However, the giant prehistoric shark is an experienced hunter that, thanks to its extremely sophisticated sense organs, sees the attack coming and can dodge it in time. Now it's the Megalodon's turn to attack, so it bites the whale's tail fin. With its incredible bite force, it almost manages to tear it off completely. Now restricted in its movement, the whale wants to get to the surface to catch its breath for the next attack, but the injury slows it down significantly. Meanwhile, Megalodon starts the second attack and first bites off the whale's left and then its right pectoral fin as well. Livyatan tries to strike back with its large mouth, but it doesn't manage to do enough harm to the shark's giant body to stop the fight. Meanwhile, it's almost unable to move, and Megalodon deals the final blow. It bites the whale in the chest and thus destroys its heart and lungs. And so, the Megalodon wins the battle. Of course, this is just one possibility of how such a fight could have ended, but I think that the gigantic primeval shark had an advantage in such a duel, since large whales were exactly what it was constantly hunting for, even though most of them had smaller teeth than a Livyatan. I'd therefore say a Megalodon would win a fight against a Livyatan in 8 out of 10 cases. But what do you think? Who'd win, and what would a fight like this look like? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any ideas for a new Megalodon video or know another animal that could fight it, I'd also love to hear your suggestions. I could make a video with the Triassic Kraken, for example. This is said to have been a gigantic kraken that lived 200 million years ago during the Triassic period. There are a few clues to the existence of such a creature, and a fight with a Megalodon would definitely be pretty exciting. Then there's the Ost Colossus, a mysterious sea dinosaur that is said to have had the size of a blue whale. Although not much is known about this creature, a fight with a Megalodon or the Triassic Kraken would certainly not be boring. There are also some giant prehistoric crocodiles and a few marine reptiles like mosasaurs that could bother the giant shark. And then there's Sharktopus, a hybrid of an octopus and a shark, which of course was not a real animal. Still, a comparison between these monsters could be interesting. Write in the comments what you would like to see in the future. Well, I hope you liked this video. See you later. Bye.